Pretty much every morning, I do a Hug Nation broadcast called Love Mornings, where love ambassadors get together and share gratitude and set our sights for the day. Yesterday was one of my favorites ever. I laughed, I cried, I felt so much gratitude and so much connection. I edited out a lot of the interactions between me and the people that are there live, but you should get the gist and hopefully inspire you to come join me some morning. Welcome to Love Morning. It's a daily practice of sharing gratitude, remembering that we're not alone, connecting with fellow like-minded, open-hearted people, setting an intention for the day, and remembering that there's so much to be grateful for. What a miracle it is to be alive in a body with consciousness on this fertile planet, surrounded by incredible, creative people. Woo! You know, occasionally I have this thought of guilt, I guess, for being this microphone, megaphone, this consistent, like I'm banging the drum of gratitude. Life is good. And, you know, the truth is there's lots that is not. And so sometimes it feels this irresponsible to be talking about all the things to be grateful for and how good things are. It feels irresponsible to gather and talk about good stuff and not talk about the bad stuff. But here's where I land on this. There is no shortage of places to talk about or be informed about things that are going wrong. I don't think anybody who is here today, who's listening to this recording or is here live, is going to finish this day without some reminder that there's lots to be freaked out about. So since we have so many avenues and places and people that are shaking us by the lapels, telling us that the sky is falling, that things are terrible, that we've got to be worried, let's just make this space one where we go, yes, and what a delicious cup of coffee that I have in this moment. Oh, what a wonderful new hat I got in the mail. What a soft little piece of skin I was touching of my lovers as we slept last night. Oh, what a glorious smell of that eucalyptus tree after the rain. Because that summoning, that collecting of this evidence of good, it doesn't make us forget the bad. It gives us something to fight for. It energizes us about what a gift. So, okay, with so much to protect and be grateful for, okay, now, what do we need to do to protect, to save, to safeguard, to heal the parts of this world that need it? So be gone, guilt. Be gone, naysayers. We have plenty of time to visit you later. Yesterday, I had a powerful grief episode. I've been editing footage of Stay Sparked all weekend, taking clips from Giannis, and just, there's so much good. And it's like, I'll be happy, and then I'll remember that I'm making something for his 1-year-old son to watch someday, and I'll just be crushed. And Betsy, our other co-host, she posted a little clip, a little video edit of all these little times when we were silly, like after we recorded, like we just would, be dancing on the screen. And so there's all these clips of us being silly, and then I was smiling so big, and I watched the video, and then I read what she wrote, and she reminded me of our practice, which was every week we would get together, we would meet on Zoom, and we would talk for 30 minutes, just checking up on each other's lives. And sometimes we decided not to record. Sometimes we said, you know what? I think what we need this week is just to be here for each other. That's the priority. The priority was our friendship. And then if we have a conversation to share publicly, we would hit record and do that. And for some reason, I had forgotten how much of the last 2 years I spent in those before recording times. And in this last year, how many times we talked about hard stuff and how profoundly honored I was that in some really dark times for him, that we know that those weekly gatherings of heart connection were really important. And as I was remembering that, I just had this feeling of like, oh my God, the hole is so much bigger than I thought it was. And I was crying so hard for a little bit that for like the next hour, after I got my composure, I felt like in an altered state. I was like kind of loopy. I was so grateful just knowing how supportive Lisa is. After I came out of my room and she just held me for a while, and as I cried, I was like, whew. And it was, and she's so supportive, and I had to say to her again, I'm like, look, this isn't entirely unpleasant. Like, I want to be here. Because I've had some times over the last week where the tears just didn't come. So when it comes, I want to be with it, and I want to I think that is the way I have been taught and am learning to grieve, is that when you feel it, feel it. And that way it's not just lingering all the time. So I've had this really incredible experience this weekend of editing and going through hours and hours of clips. And I realized that this is not the first time that I've grieved like this. In 2007, when my grandfather passed, I immediately dove into editing the footage that I had of him. And I made this 16-minute documentary about the time we spent together. And it was so helpful for me to just spend my days listening to him and feeling his energy and listening to him laugh and hearing the wisdom and just this thick presence through all of this footage. Like I was filling the hole with him. And I don't feel like it was bypassing. I wasn't bypassing the grief. It was this reverence. I had this holy work. And sometimes it feels like it's just hanging out. And that's how it felt this weekend. There's sometimes when I'm laughing and listening to him talk and I'm just in a good mood. And then all of a sudden I will be like, oh my God, this is going to be recorded for Rumi. And I'll be smiling and crying at the same time. But, oh my God, it's just so intense to have the best moments and then the absence of the woo, woo, woo. And I have this clip of my grandpa looking during Hug Nation, we were recording, so it's like the recording from the webcam, and he's like, "So you're saying that everything we say is going out all over the world?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "And it's going to be on the internet after I'm gone?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh my."
Remember I recorded you on video?
Yes.
It's now on the internet and people all over the world have been listening to it.
Oh, no.
When I went to Vegas, people came up to me and said, "Oh, I loved what your grandpa said on Christmas."
Oh,
So your voice and your words are spreading out all over the world.
gee, you can't encompass the privilege and the opportunity and the sense of the weight of your being counted for something.
Over 45 million people have seen stories of my grandpa. And he's a part of my life every day. Every day, if you stay long enough to the end of this, I say on behalf of Grandpa Caleb, he's right there. And so, even as I grieve Giannis, I also have this faith that I know that the people that touch us stay with us. And so I find, even as I have these bouts of just really deep grief, I keep coming back to this kind of warm feeling, this honored, trusted duty of being able to create a digital legacy, a way to feel the energy for the people that loved him and are missing him, for the people that never met him, and for his boy who probably will not remember, but he will be able to watch those videos and go, "Man, I come from good stock." Death is a difficult thing for the people that are left behind. In my spiritual beliefs are such that I have no sadness for wherever Giannis' spirit is or where my grandpa's spirit is. It is the hard part is that in our limited human consciousness, where we only have the perspective of a single lifetime, for some of those limited years, we filled it with all the goodness of this other person. And then when they're gone, they're still a part of our whole worldview of what makes life so beautiful. And so they're gone and we're like, ah! But they are at a place where that limited human single lifetime viewpoint is no longer a limitation. And I think that's why grieving with gratitude is such a big focus for me. You know, it's acknowledging that absence, acknowledging the hole that's left, and also remembering that there's so much that's still there of the gratitude for all the things and the lessons and the energy and the love that became a part of you as they were still in their body. If you are watching and would like to leave a comment or share something that you're grateful for, we would love to hear it. It is a beautiful practice to take a moment to go, what is something that I'm grateful for? It can be something amazing that happened, or something mundane that you just had been taken for granted. And you go, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I have trash pickup. I put stuff on the curb, this stuff that's smelly and gross, and it just gets taken away every week. That's amazing. What a gift. And I got to tell you about my brunch yesterday. Lisa and I celebrated our Valentine's Day on Sunday. So we went to Mr. A's, which is like a fancy schmancy top floor of this big building restaurant where there's a dress code. So I wore a suit and tie. At least it was in a beautiful dress. I am so in love with that woman. I have so much admiration for the way her heart and her words and her actions are so in line. She has so much integrity and such a huge heart and so much brilliance. It's like, I trust her so much. So if we have a misunderstanding, it's like, my first thought is like, oh, please help me understand the way that you are seeing this, because I guarantee I am going to appreciate knowing the way that you are thinking about this. Speaking of which, gratitude circles that I help host are free every day at noon. So if you ever want to come get in a Zoom call, and it's never more than 30 minutes, usually shorter, people just share a little bit of gratitude, something that they're grateful for. And it's a powerful part of my practice and my integration. That link is also on lifestudent.com. Any last gratitudes? Anybody want to share some more? I feel like I could just keep going and going. So grateful for my parents. So grateful for this home that I'm in. So grateful for Lisa's tending to our dinners so lovingly. All the farmers, all the truck drivers, all the produce pickers, everyone that has made it so easeful for me. The grocery store workers, makes it so easy for me to enjoy healthy food. Such diversity and freshness. Incredible. Incredible. The way the baseline that we take for granted of life in the modern world is opulence beyond royalty of 500 years ago. We live in temperature-controlled homes. Not even the kings and richest people in the world knew that luxury until very recently. So, wow, it's really a good idea every once in a while to notice where your baseline is and then start picking the things that you're taking for granted and bringing them up. Oh my gosh, I have this. Oh my gosh, I have this too. I have this too. Wow. I'm going to take a break from talking about how shitty the world is to notice how much comfort and amazing things I have at this time in history. Wow. And the people. I would guess that nobody who's here live right now, we would have ever crossed paths were it not for the technology that exists at this time in history. So I'm grateful for this technology, grateful for this amazing, practically magical ability for my voice, these vibrations leaving the vocal cords, which is another miraculous system within this thing, hitting this technology, going to that technology, it's coming out of your technology. And so you're literally feeling the physical vibrations of my entity into your entity. What? Well, with that, wherever you are, I ask, join me. Give yourself a squeeze. And as you're squeezing this body, be grateful for this incredible thing, whatever state it's in. Even if there are things that are broken or sore or hurting, the number of things that are working is mind-boggling. So as we hug this body, imagine that it's my arms hugging you, that's squeezing you, and that you're squeezing me, and you're squeezing all the people that have come through here today to share gratitude or stories, and all the people that might watch this recording. We invite you all into this hug, feeling held by one another in this reminder that we are so much more alike than we are different. Everyone, all human beings are so much more alike than they are different. All doing the best they can with what they got. All thinking they're the hero of the story. And let's sink into that feeling of oneness for just a second as we take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of my Grandpa Caleb and everybody here, thanks for being a part of this Love Ambassador morning.
Nation. Hug Nation. Oh, yeah.